What's good? What's good? What's good?
Chilling, man. What's up?
Nothing much. You can hear me now? Yeah, hopefully my volume is clear.
Yeah, I could hear you. But I probably just couldn't hear you because I was on my phone, and my phone always acts funny when I go on Zoom. But I'm back. How you guys doing? How you doing, Walter?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm chilling. Is it just us three today?
Yeah, and Josh should be pulling up on us soon. I don't know, I was trying to talk for like 2 minutes, and my thing went on mute by automatically. I didn't even know, but so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Health and Wealth Podcast. This podcast is mainly going to be about, us talking about, increasing your wealth. Obviously, we're not any financial experts. We're just here to just bring awareness, get the ball rolling, have people, just change the aspect of how things are going. And also, uh, wealth is nothing without the health. We try to emphasize that. There's a lot of things that are going on in the world right now, especially with the pandemic. And it's tough right now. So yeah, we just want to give another platform of people, just to be aware, just to think about things, and yeah, there's a platform for people to hold. So obviously, my name is John Joga, uh, and I'm joined with two other gentlemen. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Okay, my name is Collins.
And my name is Walter.
Yeah, so I just want to just get in, just how we became a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything different to what you've said, but basically, we're all kind of in our own way trying to answer the question of, how is it possible for us, especially as young Black men, but young men in general. Is that me? Hold on, give me 1 second. Sorry. Yeah, as young men in general, to really get our affairs in order financially and move forward, collectively. So we were trying to answer those questions for ourselves, and this podcast is basically to create an audience that can also help us answer those questions along with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's correct. I mean we're in another group. That's actually how we're starting to figure out financial freedom. And together there's a lot of people in the group. Some of us have been friends for a long time. Some of us just like mutual friends, so we came together, and then this podcast started as a part of starting the other journey.
Mm-hmm.
The dope thing of like what inspired me like to kind of get this so I'm saying, just because I know you two do. I know Walter, you put me onto a lot of podcasts that I listen to, and just the authenticity of just having, like, I'm saying, a group of friends that are doing things together, and just coming together, just chatting it up, and it just seems to work. From whether it be the $1 million worth of games, I'm saying, Wallow and Good the Kid are cousins. Joe, the Joe Budden podcast, Maul, Rory, Parks, they've known each other for years. So, the chemistry is just not like random people coming together. Obviously, I've known you guys for years. So, yeah. So it's just dope that, I can do this with my friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's a learning process for us all, because especially now during the time that we're living through, it's so important for us to figure out a way to empower each other so we can make it through and come out the other side a lot better than what we were before the pandemic. It's a huge opportunity, huge obstacle, but also a huge opportunity for us young men coming up.
Yeah, I liked how you worded that, because I was looking at it like that too. Like, obviously, there's been like a lot of tragedy that's been happening with everything that's going on. But I really saw it's like, oh man, like, I'm saying, all I got to do is, just save up these unemployment checks. I don't really got to splurge out like that. It doesn't cost me, that much for food. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And there's nowhere really to go. So, I'm used to kind of, just being a homebody and chilling at the crib. So it was just dope that this kind of gave me an opportunity, save money. But we're gonna get into that. Have you guys heard about the latest news about the stimulus checks?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah. So it looks like Trump is looking to assert like I don't know, an executive order
Mm-hmm.
where it's I mean, don't quote me on this, but I think it was they're trying to maybe extend the I was watching a video the other day. It was explaining it's trying to extend the unemployment benefits, but they're trying to, I don't know, that Republicans and Democrats are kind of disagreeing on how they should do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so they'll either decide on maybe doing another stimulus check or maybe extend the unemployment benefits to maybe to 300. Because I think there might be like the funds that's left for the unemployment benefit or helping out America might be what, 44 billion. So I guess like one of the problems was like how long it would last.
Mm. Yeah, and
Well, no. So I kind of help John out with this. So the stuff with unemployment. Actually, people be getting less money because it was 600 additional, but it ran out last week, I think it was. So I think Trump. The thing with the stimulus is the Democrats and Republicans can't agree on the actual plan. So the Democrats want 3 trillion. The Republicans want 1 trillion. They didn't want to extend unemployment benefits because of the national debt. So at that point, Trump saw that and was like, okay, well, I'll just do this myself, which technically he can't legally because Congress is the one who controls the situation with the country's money. So that leftover money that John was talking about, that's how Trump and them are saying that they're trying to give it out. So that's the situation that we're in on the stimulus check. So nobody knows if there's going to be no stimulus check or not right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily I've been lucky enough to have been working all through this pandemic. So lucky for me, I haven't really felt the need to pay too much attention to what they're doing with respects to the stimulus package. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's interesting, right? Because
Well, no, sorry to interrupt you, but another thing Trump was trying to do that actually will affect people who are working is cut payroll taxes. So basically, we wouldn't get taxed on our check. But the only thing is, what you call companies could choose not to do that because later on, they'd have to pay that back. So they could choose this to keep the taxes on there too, the company. So I have no idea what's happening with that payroll tax thing that Trump said.
wait, so the company would still have to pay the tax even though it's not going to be on the specific, it's not going to be added onto the employees. Is that what you said?
Well, no. So in theory, what would happen is the payroll tax will be cut, and then we wouldn't have to pay the taxes. But eventually, those would have to be paid back, which is why companies might just continue to just leave the tax there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
So like maybe like smaller business probably won't even follow that law. So I have no idea.
But I mean, with all of this, I don't know, all of this taxation and stuff like that, because it's really not the poor people or the people who need jobs that have to go to work that are really going to save the economy right now, where it is, right? It's really the wealthy, effectively, where we're at now, right? It's really the people that actually have disposable income. Is there a proposal on the table? I don't even know if you guys know, but is there a proposal on the table on how taxation is going to work going forward with respects to who gets taxed or how much they get taxed? Does anybody know?
I think it was around
No, I don't.
7.665%. I think that one video that I saw that brought it up, it was somewhere around there.
Oh well, no, I think what you're talking about is what the Republicans are attempting to avoid, because if the Federal Reserve keeps printing money, eventually you would have to raise taxes. So I think that's the why they want lower amounts of money for these positions and proposals. But at the same time, some people look at it as like people only lost one job, right? Some people lost multiple jobs. People in houses lost 2 to 3, 4 jobs, because most people working 2 to 3 jobs anyway. So, you know, it's like a tricky situation. Like, you know, maybe eventually your taxes might have to be higher, but like, you know, we're looking at also an economic problem with people can't pay their mortgages or rent too. So that's a big deal. You know what I mean? So I don't know if like taxes are the thing to worry about right now, because even Trump said that he might give that payroll tax, so we don't have to pay it. But you said that that's if he gets reelected, so that's politics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the strangest election year ever, I think, just because of all the circumstances and who's in office, and just I don't think there's ever been anything like this ever in history. You know, and the fact that it's happening during an election year with the coronavirus and the way the economy has just crashed as a result of the lockdowns and stuff like that. I mean, I would not like, I mean, out of all the years to be president, I would not like to be president this year.
Yeah, it's crazy right now.
It's crazy. But
I mean, or you could want to be president and you don't want to fix everything else. It depends how you look at it.
I mean, I guess, yeah, if you have all the right ideas that are going to make everything better, then yes, I guess you would want to be president. But who does? I mean, it's so uncertain.
Yeah, no one really could have predicted this, but I mean, all it's going to take is like from leadership, a great level of planning, so somebody could execute that out and get people together. Then I don't know how difficult it would be, because before all this, the economy wasn't really bad in terms of like at least a corporate level, not in terms of the actual people.
But let's talk about you know, financial independence. It's, you know, fair enough, the government has to do what the government has to do and things like that. But like, what can we like? What's our role in this? What's our role in terms of getting our affairs in order, despite everything that's going on economically?
Well, I think the biggest thing was like, you know what I'm saying, like especially if you're you're like young, or you're like still living at home or stuff like that, like there's no excuse for you to not like have been saving. You know what I'm saying, like I've saved a bunch from you know the unemployment money that I got, and just kept it in the savings account, and you know, and just started, you know, listen to more financial savvy individuals, and like, oh, you know what I'm saying, if I get this money I can do this, and then that's the whole reason why I started, you know, brought everybody together. You know what I'm saying, it's a good time to bring everybody together. Everybody doesn't know what's going on, there's a lot of uncertainty. And you know, obviously, I'm not going to get into the details. The group that we started was, you know, the main cause, like that's what contributed to from the coronavirus. Us starting the group.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah, 100%. And like, you know, right now it's the easiest time in history to spend money, right? Because you know, even if you're sat at home, you can still spend a lot of money online and things like that. Like, consumerism has never been more difficult to avoid than it is now, right? But it's so vital for us not to fall into that trap. And we know, just because of human tendencies, that a lot of people are going to fall into that trap, especially now that they're receiving checks for staying at home and things like that. You know, I mean, it's so easy to just kind of decide, you know what, I'm gonna kick my feet up, order stuff online, have packages come in all the time, things of that nature, and not even worry about it, because hey, I'm staying at home, I'm still getting paid, you know. So it's a very short-sighted. It's really bad for the short-sighted person right now. You know,
yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, because
Yeah, but I don't know if there's like a majority of people who are thinking like that right now, because most people, they lost their jobs. They don't know if it's ever gonna come back. Like I don't know if there's a majority of people just taking money and just using it freely. Like I think most people who are in bad situations are trying to figure out a way, because sometimes that money might not help. Like that extra 600. What
Yeah,
if
it
you
might
was working?
not.
What if you was working 2 jobs before this? You know what I'm saying? Or what if
Gotcha.
like, you know what I'm saying? Or like, let's say both you and your wife lost your job or something like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I see that mindset a lot, especially in the memes, like, oh, essential workers aren't getting paid extra, but it's like, that's on your job. The government did what they're supposed to do. If your job doesn't want to pay you extra, you got to go to get a new job or something like that, or go on unemployment and get the extra money you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely that. But like, you know, that's why for us, I mean, it's so, because it's one thing to have the right intentions and to want to save and to create wealth and to do all of these things. But, what's key for us is to actually, it's not enough to know, right? We have to know how,
Mhm.
and that's the education that we've all been denied over the years. Like, how is it possible for us to actually make steps forward and not to rely on this kind of paycheck to paycheck mentality that we're so accustomed to, you know?
And that's the thing that you brought up. We're creatures of habit. So if you're doing the same
Uh-huh.
thing, and especially like, and I know, like me, like to be honest, I've been quarantining or like living this lifestyle since 2018. So when this quarantine thing happened, it was just regular. So I know for some people, people are used to going out, people are used to doing this, or I don't know, different things affect different scenarios and different situations affect people differently. I know some people were just,
Exactly.
tough. I mean, I know. I know Walter, you are unemployed for a little bit, so you were saving and doing your thing. I know Josh was saving and doing this thing because we were both at the same job, and then we got laid off. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, Josh has always been someone that's been doing this thing, was saving up for a whip and all that. So he did that. Me, I mean, I was horrible with money before this quarantine happened.
Mm.
I kind of got myself together and was able to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There was like some crazy percentage, like people between like at least 18 to like 25 or like 30 don't even have $1,000 in savings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What-
Mm-hmm.
But John, just to correct you, I was actually never on unemployment. My job just did the right thing and continue pay us.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Where you work at?
Oh yeah,
Well,
that's right. Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Now I work at the North Face, but like the parent company, because they're under a parent company, so under that company is like North Face, Vans, Kipling's, and like
mm,
2 other companies. So like if you work
mm.
for them, you was getting paid like whatever you averaged. So before that, I was working more than usual, my average, but they just paid my average.
Oh, wow. But you know what? That's also a matter of, I think maybe you just got lucky to be working for a company that was smart, that kind of planned for an eventuality like this one, you know?
Well, they didn't actually like really plan it, because like at first it was just like they said it's gonna be for like the 2 weeks it was then, but then everything got extended. So then they said they was gonna like the pay would decrease. Then they would have a plan for us to go on a partial unemployment. But then I guess something happened. They changed their mind, just continue paying us until the end of last month.
Yeah, but even the fact that they can do that, right? You know what I'm saying? The fact that
Oh
they
no,
can,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It means it shows a good level of planning, going into, what's, because there's so many companies that kind of uh they're built on having revenue, on continuously having revenue, and as soon as the revenue stops, it's very difficult for them to continue to pay, to pay their. So you didn't get fired, right? You just got laid off, pretty much.
I wouldn't even call it laid off, because I mean I'm back to work now, so I never lost my job. It was just until the store shut down. They shut it down because they couldn't open. They just continue paying us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean,
So
I don't know if it's necessarily they plan for it, because like I don't know nobody would really predict this. Like the last
Yeah,
time something
nobody
like this happened,
predicted.
Was
Nobody
like
predicted.
1918.
Yeah, nobody predicted it, but like you would think, right, that a company that's well structured,
Hold on.
well managed, would have kind of contingency plans if the world ends. Like what happens? What happens if we're not able to pay or we can't generate as much revenue as we need to? You know, Bill Gates talks about this as well.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. You know what I'm saying? Making enough money so if something happened, you could pay your employee wages or salaries for the whole year.
Yeah.
It's kind
And
of like
yeah,
this
he did
situation.
it a whole year,
Yeah.
you know. And so there's probably a lot of companies, maybe not that many, not as many as there needs to be,
Yeah.
that have that state of mind.
Yeah.
And maybe the North Face is just one of them.
Yeah.
You know? And even maybe because like it probably also means that even despite how many people they have hired, they haven't hired as many people as they could afford to have hired, right? Just given the amount of money that they would have had in reserve, you know. But there's companies that run at full capacity, like they use all of their resources and they really are heavily reliant on revenue. And as soon as revenue dries out, it creates a situation where they're not able to sustain. They have to start streamlining in some way. Like this is also even happening in sports, like I support Arsenal, for example, right? And just recently they announced that they are laying off 55 staff members. And these are not people that are paid like the football players or anything. They're not directors or scouts or people that are paid highly. It's just regular people that are working at the club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so 55 of them are going to be let go based off of the fact that the club isn't able to continue to pay them.
So
Yeah.
it could be guys
And
like maybe
this
like groundwork people, you know what I'm saying? That could be sanitation, like concession, all that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, as much as we, the common people, may not like to think about things this way, like the companies can't sustain paying people for no productivity. We might not look at it that way
Yeah.
because we're just, oh, we've worked for you for a number of years, this, that, and the other. We deserve to get paid. Why aren't you paying us? It's easy to see it from our perspective.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
yeah, it's a bitter pill to swallow for us. But sometimes they're just doing what they need to do in order to continue to run a sustainable business.
And that's the thing. Like that's the unfortunate part. Sometimes business and morals conflict because obviously, you know what I'm saying, you understand from both levels. But I mean, obviously, if from our level, I know we were conditioned to think because we were never conditioned to think in the business mindset. It's like, dang, like, you know what I'm saying? That in order for this business to be sustainable, and then everything's about retaining money and making money. And in order to retain the money or, you know what I'm saying, make sure that they don't go down they're going to have to let some people go. I mean, morally, you might feel like shit because, like, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? These people might have children, they might be taking care of people, but it's just like,
yeah.
You have
And
to
sometimes the choice is very black and white, right? It's kind of like either you make the painful sacrifices now to streamline your company, or you don't, just to kind of hold on to some moral reasoning of why you don't want to lay off employees. And then later down the line, nobody has a job because the place has gone out of business because of mismanagement. And it's still going to be the company's fault. They're still not going to be cut any slack by the people.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, but we don't see things that way, It's easy to blame corporations at times, and sometimes corporations are rightfully blamed, because there's also a thing of like rampant capitalism where the business just thinks about making money. It doesn't care about the people that work for it, and kind of disregards their needs to advance its own, and that's also not good either, right? But when we're thinking about these things, I've started to take a much more balanced view of why things happen the way they do sometimes, even though the things that happen might be painful, you know?
Yeah, and obviously, since we're trying to get into business as well, we have to look at that in you know what I'm saying, the same light, and it's just tough.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause obviously, you know, so you want to have more, so you don't want to be a, you know, a crappy person, but at the same time, there's a decision, tough decisions you have to make in order to
Mm-hmm.
get to that, you know, to that place, or to stay at the place that you want to be as your business, and that's just, you know, that's the effects of capitalism. Yeah, you know, there's this
Yeah.
portrayal of the American dream, but you know, they just you can't just focus on the glory. You have to focus on, you know, what it takes to get there, and what it
Mm-hmm.
takes to get there and stay there is you know, tough decisions have to be made along the way.
That kind of brings us to an interesting part, because for us, right, as individuals, knowing this, knowing that that's the case, that that's how business works, right, it shouldn't uh, cause us to blame the business, but it should cause us to really reflect on how secure is our own income. You know what I mean? Like if
Hmm.
you're at a job, obviously we've kind of made, certainly me, and I trust you guys as well. You've always been taught to think about a job as secure. At least you have your job you can go to at the end of the week. You get paid X amount of dollars, and it's reliable. You know that every single time you work X amount of hours, X amount of dollars is going to be waiting for you at the end of the week, right? And the thought of that sounds pretty secure, right? But it's so secure that people don't really ever have to think about, should I start thinking about making alternative streams of income? You know, should I start thinking more broadly about where my money is coming from rather than just relying on the security of the place I happen to be working? You know, and like I don't control the source. I really don't.
It's funny how all this is coming back full circle to why so many productive reasons why I brought everybody together. Obviously, for you know, for the group. And
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, because you know, obviously, my dad's like went from, you know, that thinking to, you know, really putting me and my brother on to, you know, just thinking of ourselves, you know, working for ourselves, you know,
Mm-hmm.
investing and all that. And obviously, it took my some time for me to, you know, come around. Obviously, I had to take my pitfalls, but I mean, you know, I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
coming around. And I started trying to develop the habits. You know, I started listening to podcasts more than, you know, watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I do watch TV shows, you know, just straight anime or, you know, sports or whatever. But you know, I try to, or like, you know, captivating shows, like, you know what I'm saying, like Walter, I'm gonna start watching The Wire. You know, you put me on, and like, you know, like other, you know, those shows that are more captivating and really, you know, open your eyes to
Mm-hmm.
picture and how things work, and just constant reminders. I
Mm-hmm.
like that the podcast I listen to, there's always constant reminders and constant gems of how business work, how the world works, and things that you have to look out for. And that's why I appreciate listening to those podcasts for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that, and you know what? Like even when it comes to like entertainment or whatever, it's fine to like consume Netflix or to watch Disney or to do all of these things, but like we also have to be willing to look behind the hood. Like let's actually see how Disney operates. Like how do they make like, how is it possible that Disney is able to acquire so many different um
Companies under
uh
them.
you know what I'm saying? So many different companies are under Disney now.
Yes.
Marvel, you know what I mean? Like these people don't ask these because they just want to be entertained. They just want to turn the TV on and just watch their ESPN and just consume it. They
Hmm.
don't look under the hood to see what's really good.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like having leverage is so important. And that's another thing, like that like we have to like train our mind, like, you know what I'm saying, if a business deal pops up, we can't just run to the, you know, the first business deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to, you know, just establish our habits of like, all right, we've been broke before, By the way, we're gonna have to go into a second session soon. We have 10 minutes left, but we can just talk it out. We just
Okay.
have to think about you know, all right, we have to learn how to save money, obviously learn how to invest, so we have the leverage once, shit hits the fan. It's like, all right, I have enough, investments. I've built up my habits enough to where, I can live minimally and still, have a lot of money and still take care of myself or my family and etc. I'm not, I was like, because, sometimes people, go from making a lot of money to making not money, and then you're used to a certain lifestyle that, you really wasn't, looking to save. It happens to, athletes and entertainers all the time. I remember watching the ESPN 30 for 30 called Broke, where it talks about how athletes went broke. And I'm saying what they're spending their money on, and like, especially like, if that's why I want to bring like some people I consider my family into this, just to really open their eyes and understand, like, yeah, if I get on, I want to put you guys on, but you have to bring something to the table. When I was watching the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, shout out to Gilly, he was talking about, listen, yeah, you want to put people on, but what are you bringing to the table? I can't put you on and you bring nothing to the table. You're going to be hurting me. You have to contribute something. You have to know your role within the group. When you don't have a role, yeah, I might have love for you, but I'm going to have to have love for you for a distance, and you can feel as any type of way that you want. But that's the thing too of really being a mature thinker. Like, dang, like, if I'm here, I have to bring something to the table. You want to feel bad that you don't bring nothing to the table other than having a handout. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, what I'm saying? You can't be asking for handouts and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If someone really
Yeah.
gets on,
And
and that's
yeah, and just to add on to that, a lot of times when people become successful, right, the unsuccessful friends that you once had start telling you that you've changed because, oh, you
That's what
got all this money and now you've changed. What happened? How come we got, well, like, the reason why you have all this money in the first place is because you had to change.
exactly. Exactly.
the crazy part is Jay-Z got a line that says that. He says, people said you changed. He said, I ain't worked that hard to stay the same. Like, that's not the exact
Yeah,
line. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
Exactly, and that's the most important thing. Like, I want to like add the people I know, so they knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, bro, like, obviously, if I get on, like, obviously, I want to spurs on the family, but like, I'm not an ATM. Like, you guys have to come to me as a resource to learn how to get on your own. You know what I'm saying? If we do this thing together, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna learn. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, as a group, we'll be able to hold each other down, pick each other up, and hold each other accountable. So, you know what I'm saying? So the wealth, and, or at least the wealth and the knowledge spreads throughout the family instead of just being one person trying to distribute the wealth. You know what I'm saying? That's how people go broke. You know what I'm saying? So many times, you know what I'm saying, like, people are trying to help out their cousins or family members, or, like, you know what I'm saying, the famous athletes, throwing money into businesses, or, you know what I'm saying, just giving their, their family money, and they're just, the second they get a meal, they're trying to buy the most expensive this, that, this. Like, bro, in my head, the second I get an M, I'm sitting my family down, and we're talking about the debt that we have. We're gonna contribute that money to the debt, and then I'm spending the money evenly between the. I thought this out already. I didn't put the pen to paper yet. I just only put the pen and paper to how much money I want to have in each bank account for savings, checking, what I'm earning, what I'm spending in my checking. But I just think about, like, all right, you know what I'm saying, I know that we have debt, and go throw the money to his debt, then it's all right, that's us. So how can we split this money evenly? Whether, you know what I'm saying, I give maybe my parents a smaller portion and me and Toy take a bigger portion, or whether we split it even. Like, you know what I'm saying, I have that in my head.
Yeah.
Be pulling up,
And you know
picking
what?
the door.
That's key. That's key. You know what? Like, even in terms of splitting money, right? There's nothing that says that it has to be even. They might want it to be even, but you have to allocate resources, whether it's family or just when you're talking about business, right? You have to allocate resources intelligently where they're needed. So if one person, what they need to do requires only 500,000 and the other person requires 1 million, then you give 1 million to the person who give 500,000 to the person that requires 500,000. It's not, because it's what you do with the money once you have it at the end of the day that's going to determine what that money is to you, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's another thing. Like, you know, broke people or people that have that broke mindset always see they attach too much value to the amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, when it's just the money is a resource. It's there to be used, and it's what you can do with the money that's going to make all the difference to your life, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you guys saw the quote that I posted. It was from Fatboy SSE in the chat or on the Snapchat group chat. But he was just talking about, you know what I'm saying, people think, help is just, just giving them money. Not,
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. They don't want the knowledge. They don't want to be put on. They don't want to, come around and see what's going on. They
Mm-hmm.
just want money. And
Yeah.
that just helped to some people. And it's just like, what are you going to do with the money? Because if you have the same mindset or the same habits with more money, I'm saying it's dead. It's going to be
Yeah,
the
and you
same.
know what? And there's people that will get mad. They'll get mad at you for
Exactly.
challenging them in that way,
Exactly.
you know? And that's insane.
It's crazy.
That's insane. Because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what, you want me to flush my money down the toilet just because you're my friend? Come on,
And then, yeah, they don't think about it like that.
dude.
Think about it like that. That's like, that was the main thing I was like, I think about this all the time, bro. Cause I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, cause Walter, you already know what time it is, bro. We have a huge family. I mean, Cons, you can relate to this too.
Mm-hmm.
People in Kenya,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like, damn, bro. Like, obviously you don't want to leave people hanging, but if you're not on this type of time, then I'm sorry,
No, but see, that's another problem. I think that we're gonna have also people who are immigrant descent that are born here. It's like you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be expected to what you call it. Give money out there, but it's like if you're not always out there, you don't know everyone out there. You shouldn't really be expected to give money. Like your immediate family, yeah, but other than that, you know, what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you was an adult too. You had all this time and all this other stuff. You know, what I mean, I know the situations aren't the same, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, I don't know. You shouldn't be expected to always put money and give it away because that money could have been used for something else, and they're not gonna
Yeah.
understand it. And also, the money is different, so they might think you have all this money when you actually you don't.
Yo, that's another thing that I want to get into, bro. How do you feel about people talking about abolishing, like, saying billionaires or, people using, taking, like, billionaires' money and distributing it? Because at first, obviously from more standpoint, I'm with it, but it's just like maybe a guy like Jeff Bezos' million might be, like some of his
Mm-hmm.
money that you think is personal might be part of the economy or driving the economy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Some of these guys are like, they made their money from, like, we saw that picture of him in the basement or in his
Mm-hmm.
garage with you know what I'm saying, with windows, whatever that was, and Amazon was some that sketchy sign that he had
Yeah.
selling books. Like, it's not
You
like
know
these.
what? Before we give our opinion on that, because it's really interesting, that one. I want to speak on it at length. Let's just go to part two.
Yeah, so obviously we have like a minute left, so we can just chat about like a small topic before we head to part two.
Mm.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously this weather has been crazy. Mad humidity.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know, and people can't go nowhere, so you have to just die in your house.
You gotta die in your house of the heat and coronavirus.
Yeah, and then obviously,
You.
like, you know what I'm saying? Especially like coronavirus is out here, and like, you know what I'm saying, can't, I thought it was supposed to get killed by the heat, but that theory died quickly. Yo, this whole
Right.
coronavirus theories and everything, I
Trump when he
don't know, it's
said
just
that?
driving me crazy. You said what?
You believe Trump when he said that? That's about the heat.
No, 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 no. Listen, man, I was listen.
Who the fuck that said
When
that?
you're
What do
this,
you mean?
you, I think I got it from someone else, but I mean, listen, man. In a pandemic, you're looking for any glimmer of hope. So, yeah, man. So this is about to end soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending us in part one. We will see you in part two very, very, very shortly.
All right.
Yeah, maybe when